Welcome to the BXG podcast, a podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet at the nexus of the universe and are melded as seamlessly as Xbox, Nintendo, but not Sony. I'm one of your hosts, Brenton Bestwick, alongside my co-host, the Velvet Fog himself, Gregory Filson. Greg, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay, other than one of my favorite pitchers of all time went down tonight. I love Jacob deGrom. He did 3 innings, no hit. He struck out 8 of 9 batters against the Cubs. One of my least favorite teams, and he went down shoulder stiffness because we can't put stuff on a ball anymore for whatever reason. So I'm angry. I'm upset about that. An uptick is we bought some wallpaper for our bathroom because normally our bathroom looks like Jack Nicholson's going to come in and kill us in there. So we're livening it up. It's like going to be like a jungle theme. It looks very cool. It's like I don't know. It's just leafy and fun. I don't know. It's jungly. It may be a tiger will come and kill us, but it won't be Jack Nicholson. So that's the theme we're going with. It'll brighten it up. It's this dark red. It's disgusting. It's 49ers red. That's the actual color of it. But yeah, other than that, I'm okay. It's what I love about June is it's summer, but it's not summer yet. So we have baseball, and we still have the NBA playoffs. We got like my 2 favorite sports going. Other than college football, but like professionally, my 2 favorite sports. I'm having a good time. I'm loving that sports are back. I'm loving that we have fans in the stands. Hopefully, I'll be a fan in the stands here soon. I know you're going to be. So that's what I'm saying. How are you doing, Brenton?
I'm all right. Housekeeping. BXG podcast publishes every Friday at 12 p.m. on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcasts, and other podcast services around the globe. Official BXG social media accounts on Facebook.com/BXG Podcast, Instagram at BXG Podcast, Twitter BXG Podcast, Instagram at GTFills at Y2B, YouTube.com BXG Podcast. We're doing a giveaway, and this is in an attempt to get a little bit more exposure. So what we're going to do is the next 25 people, and you only get one. You get one entry. The next 25 people who share a BXG podcast post, and here are the rules. You have to tag either the podcast, either Greg or myself, and you'll be entered into a drawing for a $25 gift card of your choice, as long as it's not something like seedy. I'm buying you a gift card to Adult Mini Mart or whatever.
What, OnlyFans?
No, we're not doing that either. So that will start Friday when this goes up. The next 25 people, one entry apiece. Okay?
I like this. Do it, people.
Yeah. Make sure you tag us. Blah, blah, blah. Social media scoreboard: John, JJ Kish 13, Jared L5, Aaron H5, Anthony W3, David S from Carson City 3, David C 2, EJ1C. That's updated with the Loki trivia questions. The people who got them right earned some points. There was no trivia this week because I forgot. We have 2 corrections and clarifications. The 7 C's are the Adriatic Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea, the Red Sea, the Caspian Sea, the Arabian Sea, and the Persian Gulf, which I guess counts as a sea. There are actually...
I don't count the Persian Gulf.
It's one of the 7 seas. There are 77. There's 77 seas. I think I said there were 30. There's 77.
77 is a lot of seas.
Yeah. A lot of Asian seas.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on over there.
Yeah. South China Sea.
Yeah.
Sea of Japan.
Too many seas.
There probably are. They should be relegated to 7. Updated numbers on the Logan Paul? Jake Paul. Who cares? Floyd Mayweather numbers suggest that over 1 million people did buy the fight on Showtime. No clarification on if those numbers are global or domestic. As of the recording last week, the estimate was between 600 and 650,000 and was domestic only. So I have a great show tonight. We have a great show tonight. We've got a 6-pack of topics quick hitters and very controversial science segment. But we lead with this past week was the E3 press conferences, all digital, and go ahead and take it away.
Here we go. It's all the E3 news. We crushed it this week with E3, or you did. I watched the stuff, but the gaming industry's big dance was held this past weekend with various streams from big and small publishers alike. While independent publishers such as Square Enix, Capcom, and Bandai Namco held small streams with no PlayStation presence throughout the 5-day event, Microsoft and Nintendo were primed to shoot their shot, and shoot they did. Microsoft, who has been told they have no games for almost a decade, came out swinging with a huge slate of first and third party offerings, headlined by Starfield, Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, Diablo 2 Resurrected. Just gotta say it like that. The Outer Worlds 2, and much more.
You don't have to do that.
I'm sorry. I felt like I had to.
You don't.
Diablo 2. I remember playing the first Diablo. The Outer Worlds 2, and much more. Nintendo did not have a robust lineup as Xbox, but they had the mic drop moment when they debuted footage of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Though no Switch Pro-like machine was shown, unfortunately. For our purposes, we have chosen to highlight 8 of the games shown through the weird amalgamation of Summer Games Fest and independent streams.
All right, so I'm gonna. You watched all these trailers.
I watched all of them. Yeah.
I gave Greg a list of trailers to watch. All of these trailers can be found either over on IGN or YouTube, wherever you typically consume this type of content. But I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna break down the 8 that we chose from the various conferences. There was a lot of just nonsense. Like, this kind of sucked, to be honest with you. Overall, Xbox and Bethesda and Nintendo showed some cool things. Other than that, it was kind of hit or miss. Shown during the Summer Games celebration or Summer Games Fest or Jeff Keighley's thing, whatever, was on, I think it was on Thursday, and it was from the creators of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is Elden Ring, a Souls-like game developed by From Software, with the lore of the world written by George R.R. Martin, which, fuck yourself, man. Releases January 21st, 2022. What did you think of this particular trailer?
It looked all right. I'm always like, I guess with all the trailers, I'm like, where's the gameplay and where's the not gameplay stuff?
Sure.
And this one gave me, I felt like the least amount of gameplay.
Other than Avatar, because Avatar, and we'll get to that, it showed nothing.
Well, other than Avatar, but like I was going to go on a whole thing about Avatar. That's why I'm... So, I don't know. Like, I watched this, I'm like, you know, it was one of those funny things where I was like watching it at breakfast with JD, and she's like, are we watching a movie preview? And I was like, kinda, because like nothing's happening. It was weird to me. I don't know, like, this game might be cool. It wouldn't shock me if the game's cool. But there was not enough gameplay for me, is like, from what I could tell, and like a lot of the things too with like these games is just like, what is... It's weird to me because I have no background with this, so like, give me something. And I felt like we didn't get anything with this. It looked really cool. I thought of all the stuff that we saw, it looked super cool, but it just didn't give me anything. It's just like, oh, is this Lord of the Rings? Kind of like, it was very much like that. Oh, we're in this area and things look mystical and crazy, but I don't know what is actually happening. I don't know the point of this game. It probably is going to be cool. I like the music.
Sure.
Like, that's a good music drop. Like, if that was just in the background of me, like, cooking eggs, I think it'd be fun. But beyond that, I don't know what we're going to get with this. I just wish that when we had game previews, it was just game footage and not like the other stuff. But I'm sure I'm not the first person ever to say that.
Well,
or the 2000th person to say that today.
Yeah, gameplay is king. Elden Ring was like announced, I'm not 100% sure when, From Software is developing. The Souls series, Bloodborne and Sekiro, are known for being very difficult, punishing games to an almost level where they're just kind of annoying. The only one that I have beaten is Bloodborne. I got fed up with Sekiro. I never tried Dark Souls, any of those three. This looks like it's maybe going to be a little bit more hack and slashy. Just being a little bit more familiar with those games, I kind of know what we're going to see from this. I know Souls fans are going to love it. There's some of the most annoying fans of any franchise out there with how protective they are of this particular franchise. But the George Martin thing, it's not like it's tied into Game of Thrones or anything. So I don't know why it's necessary for him to be writing a video game when he has other very important tasks to accomplish. But I digress. From 343 Studios, we get a release window of Holiday 21 and a multiplayer trailer, as well as some story info for Halo Infinite, one of the big guns for Microsoft Xbox Series X this year.
The Halo thing was the same thing. Like, Halo is just the same game all the time, right? I'm not wrong. The games look exactly the same, and it's just I didn't feel like I learned anything from the Halo thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halo, right? I mean, people who like Halo are going to be excited about it, and it's going to have new maps and new levels, and it's going to look better, and blah, 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 blah. The problem I have with Halo, and I'll be honest with you, is I'm not a Microsoft guy, and to do Microsoft stuff, we probably should have had our buddy Kevin back to break some of that stuff down, but short notice, and there's really only a couple of Xbox games that I really want to talk about. I've never been good at Halo, and that's why I don't really care about it. I'll be the first to admit it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not good at Halo games. I don't get the sci-fi action type stuff. I don't get, they're not real weapons. They're like pretend weapons. They're not, it's like super science fiction and all this stuff. And I've just never been good at them. I'm not good at Destiny, which was made by Bungie, who made the original Halo games. I'm not good at those kind of weird sci-fi shooters. I'm not good at Titanfall. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm adequate at Call of Duty. I'm better than average, I would say. But I've never been good at Halo, and that kind of drives me to, whenever a new Halo thing comes out, to kind of turn my nose up at it a little bit. But I know that there's going to be people who are super excited for this. I mean, this is a reason why people bought these new Xbox machines, is for Halo. Right. The first trailer, when it came out, around this time last year, there was no formal E3 because of COVID. I think Microsoft just did a presser. It didn't look good at all. And I watched a little bit of the multiplayer trailer. I didn't send that to you, so I don't know if you checked that out or not. But this looks fine. You know what I mean? It looks good. It looks like exactly what you would want from a Halo game. It looks
good. Yeah.
It looks exactly like what you would want for a Halo game. The first new universe in over 20 years from Bethesda Game Studios, famous for Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, is Starfield, described as Skyrim in space and a Han Solo simulator. Releases to Xbox and PC November 11th, 2022. There was no gameplay for this either.
Right.
It was just
this was
trailer.
This is one of those things where I was just like, okay, I don't know what I'm getting. It looks cool. I like space. I've been, I'm a pro space guy. But I don't understand, and you're more about all the stuff than I am. I don't understand why we won't get gameplay more in this stuff.
Well, okay, so let me break this down for you a little bit. So since this is not your area of expertise, when this game was announced, and it was announced far too soon, I think it was announced in 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It was just the people who make Elder Scrolls, which is like Skyrim and Oblivion, and the people who make Fallout are making a game like that in space. And so for the hardcore fan, that's enough. You know what I mean? Skyrim sold crazy copies. You know what I mean? Fallout 3 sold crazy copies. For that, or rather for this level of hype for a new game for them, all they needed to do was show a release date. And people are in.
Yeah.
And so they said the release date is November of 2022. So we're still, about a year and a half away. I'm really bummed that this is the first big blow of Bethesda being bought by Xbox and these games not coming to PlayStation. This is the first one for me. Fortunately, I bought a new laptop that has gaming capabilities. I'm hoping that it will be able to play this game, because I do want to play Starfield. I don't know anything about it, but them saying, hey, it's Skyrim in space and it's a Han Solo simulator. Well, I love both of those
That
things.
sounds really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't be able to play it. So that's just one of those things. Like, I did download Last of Us, though. I have it. Just so you know.
Well, you're getting there. You're getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
From Square Enix, developed by Neo developer Ninja Theory, comes Souls-like game Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. A demo is available for PlayStation users now through June 24th. So you'll have... They may have extended that because it was buggy.
Sure.
You'll have about a week if you hear this on Friday and want to download the demo and check it out. Release in 2022, no official date given.
I was surprised at how, like, I didn't think the graphics were that good. Like, the video that I saw of it, I mean,
The lead character looked super janky, like real basic.
like, the actual action stuff seemed cool, but, like, the actual, you know, it seemed not good. Like, if you told me this was, like, PlayStation 3, I'd be like, yep, this is PlayStation 3. Graphics.
I don't know about that.
It
That's a
just
stretch.
wasn't that... well, I don't know. It just didn't look that good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it seems fun. I will say 100% it seems fun. And way different than the Final Fantasy that I grew up with. But,
Right, and that's the thing to point out, that if you're signing up for this expecting black mages, white mages, turn-based combat with numbers flying off people's heads, it's not happening. This is a Souls-like game. So it's going to be like Elden Ring. So definitely, like, if it's something you feel like you might be interested in, check out the demo or at least some gameplay trailer. Also from Square Enix, developer Eidos Montreal, famous for the Deus Ex series, comes Guardians of the Galaxy. The game has a release window, release date of October 26, 2021.
this game just seems like... it doesn't seem important, but it seems fun. You know what I mean? Like, you're Star-Lord. It has, like, all the comic elements of, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the movies, to me. And I hope they didn't release too much of it, because, like, that was a long trailer.
Yeah, it was a long trailer.
It was like 3 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was a lot of Star-Lord jokes. A lot.
A lot of Star-Lord jokes. Yeah.
Which I like. You know, I like that we had that, but it's like, I hope that we didn't lose all of them in that, and then you play the game.
I'm sure that there will be more. I'm sure it's at least a 25, 30-hour game.
It seems fun. It does actually seem like a lot of... And you're Star-Lord. I like that.
Yeah.
And you get to do this. Hopefully you'll succeed. It's like they play into that. I think
Right.
Guardians is maybe... It's sort of funny to me. As much as, like, the Guardians didn't really last as a comic book, and it's sort of funny how Marvel decided to make it a movie. But it's become this, like, cult thing.
Yeah.
Where, like... And I get it. I mean, I like those movies. I do. And I like them in the other movies. It's taken off as its own thing. I think this game is, like, an easier sell than being the Avengers. You know what I mean?
That's interesting you say that, because the Avengers game didn't do well.
Right. And it didn't do well. And because it's so tough to be the Avengers.
Right. Well, I think that part of it with the Avengers was, well, why doesn't Cap look like Chris Evans, and why doesn't Robert Downey or Tony Stark look like RDJ, and why doesn't Thor looks like Hemsworth? And it's like, well, you would have had to pay those people for their likenesses.
Right.
And that's not cheap. Whereas, you know, they can kind of play around and make these characters look a little bit closer, since most of them are heavily in makeup anyway. I mean, you can make Rocket look... I mean, all he's going to do is look like a raccoon. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if he looks like Bradley Cooper's Rocket, because it's not Bradley Cooper. The only one that's, like, to me, like, really drastically different looking was Quill. And that's just because you can't make him look like Chris Pratt.
Right.
But whereas I had no interest whatsoever in playing the Avengers game, I'm actually really interested in playing this.
I am same. Yeah. I think this is like a good escapism game.
Right.
You play it for, like, it's not a game you want to sit down and play for 3 hours, but it's like, let me play 20 minutes of Guardians, have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play anything for 20 minutes, so it will be that for me, that I sit down for a good chunk of time for it. But
for someone like me, though, I always look at someone like me, it's just like, I only play video games 20, 30 minutes at a time, and then I move on. That's just where it's literally just because of my anxiousness. That's literally, I can't sit and I can't do anything for that long.
Yeah.
So that's just how I am. So if I say that I can do something for 30 minutes, you might as well say he just did something for a day and a half. That's where I'm at. So like that's a good cue. I when you sent me this, I was like, ugh. I was like not with it, and then I watched. I was like, no, this actually seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But then the next game we're going to talk about, exact opposite.
From Ubisoft comes Avatar Frontiers with Pandora. No window was given, but a release of sometime in 2022 was announced.
Don't care. Just like I don't care about these movies. I didn't like the first movie, and we're going to I think we get 105 of them. I don't know how many we get. I'm so over Avatar. I do not care. This game looks like shit. It just like looks like the movie in 2008 when it came out. It doesn't look that good. It's just like, oh, here's a bunch of colors, kids. Maybe if I'm like 3, I'm intrigued, but like I'm not 3. I'm significantly older than 3. This game gave me nothing. I was just so...
It looked real pretty.
It looked very pretty.
Yeah.
It was a lot of pretty and then nothing inside.
No gameplay was shown.
No gameplay, nothing. I kept waiting for like, can you give me some game? I don't even know what this game's about. It's Ferngully. It's Ferngully.
This is what I can tell you, okay? This game is a Ubisoft game, and so it'll be a Ubisoft game. And what that means is it'll be Assassin's Creed with Avatar characters.
Okay.
That's what it'll be. And, you know, they may play around with, you know, the different combat elements. Really the only game that the only real Ubi game that strays away from that sort of open world checkbox formula would be The Division, which is the Tom Clancy thing. And then, you know, some of the other shit that Red Storm does, like with Rainbow Six and all that Tom Clancy stuff, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. Ubisoft games are open world checkbox games, and that's exactly what this is going to be. It's going to be very pretty, and it's going to be an open world checkbox game. My problem with this is that if the Avengers game proved anything, it's that you cannot sell a game on IP recognition alone. And what I mean by that is, what in the world is more recognizable at this moment than the Avengers? Nothing.
Right.
But the game wasn't good, I mean, from all accounts, it was average. It was broken at launch. Not Cyberpunk broken, but, you know.
Nothing is.
It was just like people had a hard time with it because none of the characters looked like the Avengers. I think that that's going to be the same thing because Avatar was like 15 years ago. And I think, and I'm with you, the first movie, as you said, we're going to get 105. The original Avatar is, in my opinion, the most overrated movie literally ever.
Yes.
Yeah. For everything it did, like you said, like the colors, and I know that it used 3D really well. But I've got news for you. That story was a lot better when it was Kevin Costner and it was Dances with Wolves. Because it's the same story beat for beat.
Yeah.
Like the same story beat for beat.
You know, James Cameron, just quit. You haven't made a good movie in forever. And
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not.
I think it's bad. I was so bored halfway through. I was like, this is so boring.
I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just not.
It's not good.
Everything that everybody says. You know what I mean? It's not. It doesn't. It's not even close to deserving of the accolades that it has. Not at all.
Right. No, I'm not excited about this game. Don't care.
But
I'll switch this game.
Yeah, from Nintendo comes the first 2D Metroid game in 19 years, and the conclusion of the Samus Aran tale in Metroid Dread, October 8 release date for the Nintendo Switch. You look like you're having a seizure.
Love it. 2D game, man. I'm gonna buy Nintendo just for this game.
This is the game that you're gonna buy it for?
Brenton, I love Metroid. Like, that was my jam. I love a 2D game. I love that we're doing 2D. It looks super cool. I love Metroid. I grew up on that. I went Zelda too, but like this just looks. We got so much gameplay.
Yeah, there was a lot of
gameplay, and I was like, it gave me goosebumps. I was just like, the first two Zeldas, regular Zelda and then Metroid on regular Nintendo and then Super Nintendo Metroid. I got those vibes, but just better. It was just like, this is just the best version of this that could ever happen. Well, I just grew up with Metroid, and I love it. And this game, to see it as a 2D game, like in 2021, made me like super excited.
Yeah.
I'm down. I don't know if people care. I don't know if people younger than us care about 2D games, but I think having a 2D game, that's actually weird to say, is like cool. I think it's cool. I don't know. It looks super fun. It seems like a Metroid game. That's what I want. I want a Metroid game to be a Metroid game.
Finally, from Nintendo, no introduction needed for Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, the follow-up to the 2017 Game of the Year. Nintendo has said that the true name of the game has not yet been revealed because it would be a spoiler. So
it looks super cool, too.
Yeah, it's Zelda.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Zelda.
So it's the Marvel of the Nintendo universe.
No, Mario is. Cut that out.
The thing is Mario 2 happened.
Mario 2 is not really Mario 2, though. Zelda 2, guess what? Zelda 2 happened, too. Link's Adventure.
Yeah, Zelda 2 was
Go
weird.
Play it.
That's
not that
weird.
great.
That is such a weird game. Yeah, that game was weird. I've played all the Zelda games until, they advanced the systems and I moved away from Nintendo, but I'm excited. I think this might be the fall of Nintendo for me. Nintendo of fall. I don't know how I want to say it.
Yeah, you don't want to say the fall of Nintendo because that sounds
not
like
the fall of
their
Nintendo. The Nintendo of fall, or the autumnal Nintendo. That's weird. That's hard to say. Autumnal Nintendo. Autumnal Nintendo.
Non-E3 gaming news. Cyberpunk 2077 will be heading back to the PlayStation Store. So you can purchase that if you are a PS3 or a PS4 or a PS5 owner in the next week.
I won't.
Hackers broke into EA, one of the world's largest gaming publishers. At minimum, the Frostbite engine, which powers EA Sports and Battlefield games and is a proprietary engine for EA, has been stolen. Player data was not compromised. I'm surprised a bigger deal wasn't made of this. I think it got overshadowed by the fact that this weekend was E3 and it kind of maybe flew under the radar. Finally, and what's not really a surprise, Microsoft is looking to build Xbox into smart TVs and streaming sticks and says that they're already working on their new hardware. So there's that. There was no Sony presence. Nothing. Not a single thing.
So weird.
Well, I imagine within the next month or so they're going to do their own thing and it's going to be a thing. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
So we will do that. E3, honestly, not that great this year, but there's a few cool things. I think if I had to pick one game that I'm most excited about, I honestly think it would be that Guardians game. It's close. It's October 26th. And it just looked fun. Like you said, it just looked fun. Like I'll probably play Elden Ring and I won't like it because those games make me want to break things. I'm obviously not going to play Halo because I'm not an Xbox guy. I hope that my PC or my laptop runs Starfield because I do want to play that. I'm not sure about the Final Fantasy game. That's kind of hit or miss. I just don't like Souls games. I'm not going to play Avatar. And then with Metroid and Zelda, we'll just kind of see. So my game of the show would honestly probably be Guardians. As weird as that sounds.
No, that sounds exactly where I'm at.
Number 2, Loki, episode 2, The Variant. Mobius puts Loki to work on investigating the variant, but not everyone on the team is thrilled about it, with good reason. Few at the TVA trust the god of mischief. Loki is brought into the field to the most recent attack on TVA agents in which one was taken hostage. He stalls almost to the point of a time crisis, but the TVA is ahead of his games. Mobius sets Loki to research all the variant case files, and Loki uncovers a loophole in the TVA defenses in which a variant could be hiding at an apocalyptic event in which the entire population is wiped out. They test this theory in a hilarious manner in Pompeii, prior to the volcanic eruption that wiped the town from history. They then cross-reference the pack of gum given to the child in the first episode with apocalyptic events and head to Alabama in the year 2050 to a department store that is about to get wiped away by a hurricane. Loki comes face-to-face with the superior version of himself, Lady Loki, played by Sophia Di Martino, who bombs the sacred timeline with the time bombs and disappears into a portal. Before Mobius and the rest of the TVA can stop him, Loki 1.0 follows her into the rift as we are left on a cliffhanger.
I was all about this episode because it was like, oh, we're getting like a CSI episode. Like there was something cool about seeing Loki in like a suit, like the shirt and tie, and then the jacket,
like a shitty
and, like,
suit though, not
shitty,
like a
yeah.
Loki suit like he wears.
No, right, exactly.
Avengers. Like,
Avengers,
yeah.
right. It was just like, there was something funny is like, he's like so lowering himself to this.
Right.
Which I loved it. I thought that was really cool. And it's like, he's like taking in on it and like he's playing into it because he is the god of mischief.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and you know, Loki is actually one of my favorite Marvel characters in the sense of like, not just the MCU, but just in general, because he is like this guy. It's just like, he's an anti-hero. He's not a villain. He's just someone that you can't root for, but you kind of are, you know, in this weird thing. I thought this episode was like a great thing of that. It was like, well, it kind of sucks for him. You know, he didn't, you know, he was trying to take over the world because that's his, you know, glorious destiny. But at the end, it was just, oh, I realized there's someone better at doing this than I am. And now I have to follow her into this whole thing. And I thought this was like a great, this is 2 episodes in, so we're a third away in to this season.
Yep.
And I was stoked on it. I love the scene where they go to Pompeii. I thought that was hilarious.
That was very
when
funny.
He released the goats and he's just like doing his whole thing. I also love that Loki's hair was insane in this episode. Like he was so frantic the entire time. And I'm not saying anything. He's good. Tom Hiddleston's good at acting. I don't want to. I know it sounds really weird because we're like talking about a Marvel person, but like he is like an actually like trained actor, and just an episode where you get to see it. It's like, as much as I love, you know, Owen Wilson and stuff like this, it's just like, this is a guy so far ahead of everyone else in the room at acting, and you see it in this episode, and I loved it. I thought this episode was like, I was telling Jamie, was like, this is kind of a perfect episode to set us up going forward. Like, we don't, like, it's not, like, you know, we talk about things not being, like, the best thing ever, but this might be the best episode to set us for going forward, because we don't know. We have no idea what's happening now. I am totally lost. I don't know what Lady Loki is doing. I don't know if Loki cares about, like, helping people or not helping people. He's always helping himself.
Right.
That's always the thing. But no, I really liked this episode. I thought it was so much fun. And initially, I wasn't actually down with it. Like, the first 10 minutes, I was like, it's cool seeing him in the suit and everything. But there was nothing happening. But I thought this was fun.
I think in the first 10 minutes, like you said, he's being trained, basically, or filled in by the Miss Minutes cartoon on what all the different elements of the TVA was. And I kind of thought that was sort of a clever way of explaining to the audience how all this stuff works.
Right.
As far as making the audience understand, like, these are the consequences for, you know, if things go awry. And then he tries to make them go awry. I would say where we're at with this is, and these shows, especially these first 3, are all going to be really closely compared to each other. Whereas Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan had, at times, awkward chemistry in terms of their jokes, feeling forced, not landing well, just not working that well. Owen Wilson and Loki have legitimate dynamic chemistry on screen.
It's amazing chemistry.
It's
amazing chemistry. It's like, it's weird that we just got Owen Wilson in these movies now. Or not the movies, but because he's so good at fitting in. Yeah. Like, I will say Owen Wilson's like a great fit-in guy, whether you like a lot of his movies or you don't. Every time he's in something, he fits in. You don't even have to think about it. Like, he knows, he might be an underrated actor. Yeah. I think he might be. Because it's seamless. He's so good with, Tom Hiddleston is like literally like a Shakespearean trained, like, you know, that kind of thing. And Owen Wilson just slides right in and is like, I can hang with him. And he does a good job. Yeah,
their chemistry is definitely undeniable, and their comedic chemistry is and I wonder too how much of it is Owen Wilson bringing that out as well. I do think that we've learned through however many movies Loki's been in at this point that Tom Hiddleston does have comedic chops. It's just not really on the same level as like a known comedic actor like Owen Wilson, but I think that they bounce off each other rather well. The other thing is, if you're tuning into Loki to see Captain or Falcon and Winter Soldier level action, I do think you're going to be disappointed. I don't think that you're going to see that type of action from this from this particular series. It's probably going to have more action top to bottom than WandaVision did. But it's not going to have the episode to episode, the big fight scenes, what you're used to with Marvel. I think that this is going to be this lands somewhere between the two on the action scale. But I think I had a lot of problems with the first episode because I thought it was just kind of wasted time in a lot of ways. But this episode to me really helped rebound things rather nicely and point the series in a nice direction.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any wasted minutes in X4. I don't think there'll be any setup. I think now that he's following Lady Loki, I actually think we're in for like an ultimate treat. This is the thing I left with this episode. I think it ends up being the best of those three. I really do. I actually think we're going to end up thinking this is the best of those just because the storyline is so different than everything else. It's so different. There's no land. It's not a good guy episode. It's not a good guy series. It's the first one where it's not the good. I know Wanda isn't necessarily like a good guy in the comic books, but we don't know the bad side of Wanda yet that we get in the comic books. Read the comic books, everyone. I say this all the time. Read the comic books. You'll be enlightened. You'll have a good time. The Wanda bad version is, but Loki is. He's not a villain, but he's also not a hero.
He's an anti-hero.
Yeah. So he's an anti-hero. So I'm excited. I love Loki. I love Tom Hiddleston. We talked about this in our Marvel episode coming out on Tuesday, but he is the perfect fit for this.
Yeah.
He's so good. His little smile is perfect.
He has aggressive teeth at times.
And I think that's perfect for Loki.
Like very aggressive teeth.
He's got a good jawline. I support a good jawline. So yeah, I'm excited. I just mean like he's an alpha.
Sure.
He's an alpha.
Yeah.
Even though he isn't the alpha, his brother is the alpha. So we're gonna move on to Bad Batch, episode 7. I think we were on episode 7.
Yeah.
That's just insane to me. Clone Force 99 gets a visit on Ord Mantell from another holder from the Clone Wars, Commander Rex, a first edition clone trooper who has denied Order 66 and his inhibitor chip removed. Seeing Wrecker's headaches getting increasingly worse, Rex suggests that the Batch need to have their chips removed as well. Because although they resisted Order 66, it is also a matter of time before they succumb and turn on their allies. Clearly. They travel to another planet to a Jedi cruiser medical facility to undergo the procedure. But before Wrecker can have his chip removed, he turns on the team and attacks them, nearly killing Omega before Rex can stun him. Wrecker has his chip removed, as do the rest of the crew, and Rex heads back to what seems to be the burgeoning Rebel Alliance. Meanwhile, the Empire is notified of the team's presence in the system. What did you think, Brian?
This was an episode that, for me, was one of the better episodes of the run.
Same.
I felt like something meaningful was happening in the story, something that needed to happen. The inhibitor chips being removed. It was maybe like there wasn't a ton of action per se, aside from the brawl between the rest of the troopers and Wrecker, but. The action was fine. I couldn't get over it at certain points, like how good it looked. Like I felt like this episode looked really well.
Oh, it looks so good. This episode looks so good.
So the water before the Kraken type creature grabs him, and then just kind of the dust particles and stuff in the air were, it looked really good. But the story in general, they kind of set things up with in the beginning they have their post-mission routine or whatever, that they have like this candy or whatever, Omega and Wrecker, and it sets up that kind of relationship that she has with him, which seems like it's almost like Hunter's dad and Wrecker's mom for her.
Sure.
And her relationship with Tech and Echo is just like non-existent. But seeing Rex was cool. I know he's played a big role in like the Clone Wars and maybe in Rebels and stuff like that. But they keep bringing in these characters to connect to those different shows, which is it's fine. But overall, yeah, I really like this episode. I thought it looked really good. I thought at the beginning when they were in the cantina and the stranger showed up that it was going to be Maul, and then it was Rex. Yeah. But you know, I think that Maul makes it in here at some point. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this episode. This was the best episode that there's been in a while for this show.
I honestly just thought it was the best episode so far, because like things actually were at stake. That was the thing to me, is like that's been my biggest problem with the show, is like it felt like nothing was at stake. It was just like something happens, we have to fix it, and we move forward. But like now it's like chips in head, and you know, Omega almost gets killed. It's like this weird thing. It's like there's actual tension in the room. It's like, you know, Omega's not going to get destroyed, but
yeah, it's a cartoon.
There's still that actual tension in the room of that thing. So I thought, I thought this was a really good episode. I'm excited. Like, it made me more excited for what was going forward. At initially with like the last episode where I wasn't as excited. I thought it was still a fine episode, but like this one is just like, okay, we are in Star Wars territory where things matter, and I think it's a good episode. There's not. To break this down, you're not breaking a lot of stuff down. They got their chips removed. Now they're kind of doing their own thing, which I think is very cool too. Mm-hmm. It's like, I know we got vaccinated, so we all have our chips in our arm.
Right.
But, so we got to get those chips removed so we can do our own thing. But, I just thought I honestly just thought this was like a good episode halfway through the season. It makes you excited for what's happening going forward. I don't know there's much more to say than like this episode made me more excited for what's happening going forward.
Yeah, I definitely think that is, they're going to be leading towards some cool villain reveals and stuff like that, because aside from Tarkin and the Empire, we really haven't gotten any great, like, ooh, look at this cool bad guy sort of thing. There was the Fennec episode or whatever, but outside of that, there hasn't been a ton of interesting villains. But anyway.
All right, so we're on to topic number 4. It's the Summer of George, and a friend of mine from the Book Star Workout, Scott's joining us, and he picked what I think is an absolute killer episode, maybe an underrated episode after rewatching it, because holy cow, did this episode go off the rails. It's the Jimmy. It's the 105th episode of the NBC sitcom Seinfeld, of course. This was the 19th episode for the 6th season. It originally aired on March 16th, 1995. The episode's title refers to guest character Jimmy, played by Anthony Stark, who transmitted his habit of referring to himself in the third person to regular characters George and Elaine. In other plot points of this show, Jerry becomes suspicious of the going on at Tim Watley's dental office. It just gets so gnarly, and Kramer is mistaken for a mentally challenged person, leading him to be a guest of honor with Mel Torme, the Velvet Fog, who appears in the episode as himself. So Scott, I just want to go right with this. You did terrific pick, and I think when he says, what led you to this pick? Because it's a great episode, but what led you to the Jimmy?
Well, I've done some deep soul searching in the rewatch and just trying to figure out like why I did pick this, because it's like when I started the rewatch, it's like, okay, it's not a classic, like just hilarious start to finish episode. But I think for me, what I love about Seinfeld is like specific scenes that I just can't forget that I'm on the floor with. And I mean, it makes it so that it's hard to pick an episode, but usually when I try to like think of my favorite scenes, I go to Kramer on the Novocaine, where it's like, if they pull the needle out, I let the expletives fly,
It's so good.
I mean, it almost doesn't get better than that for me. So it's a great Kramer episode. Love having a recurring character appear. So classic Tim Watley, or is it Caligula? We're not sure. But pretty sure after the very end. Kind of sounds like it's there in print in the latest Penthouse. But so yeah, you got that, and you got the Velvet Fog. I mean, come on now. You've got Mr. Maltorme himself, nailing a classic song, and it's like, and he even doesn't feel like some guy on a sitcom who's like uncomfortable to be there. He is totally with it.
Yes.
And with the gig and just nailing it. So yeah, it's just all those things I keep going back to.
And I think I literally just watched this because this is what I do whenever our guest picks the episodes. I have to watch it like immediately. And I've said that Janie and I are rewatching this, so it wasn't that long ago to rewatch it, but now like really scrutinize these episodes. And the one thing that I noticed with this episode is so many like people that were guests, like just side actors, whatever, are losing it. When Jimmy slips and falls, the medic has to turn his head because Jimmy's screaming. He's screaming about like, Jimmy's going to get you, Kramer. And the medic can't even look up because he's
got a compound fracture.
Jimmy's got a compound. It's so funny to me that like so many people break in this episode because it is insane. Like, and you and I have talked about this, Scott, and Brenton, is 7, 8, and 9 are the seasons where we're just completely off the wall. But if you just drop me into this episode in like, if you told me this was a season 7 episode, I believe you 100% because it's so different than the rest of them. It's absolutely insane when Kramer is doing when he gets punched by Jimmy and he's at the Mel Torme event. The woman who may not even know she's on camera is gone. Like she's losing her mind. Yeah. And like they keep showing her and she like keeps looking away because I think she doesn't know, but she kind of knows she might be on camera. And it's so funny to me because I mean, Seinfeld, there's a reason why we're doing a Summer of George, but it's so funny. But to see people that are like, for them to break after how many takes do you think it is? It's just, you have to eventually go with it. And I think this is what made it so good. And when Kramer is doing the scene with the guy in the car, like he got nominated for an Emmy that year. It has to be because of that scene, because that is, he does. And Michael Richards, for whatever happened to him after Seinfeld and things like that, he got nominated, I think 4 times. He won twice and got nominated 4 times. Yeah. Or 5 times. So he won twice, got nominated. So he's like, Hall of Famer, batting average. This is the episode. He didn't win for this season, which is insane because of that episode alone. But man, what chops does he show? It's a Kramer episode. And there's not to me a lot of Kramer episodes. There's a lot of like Kramer's a really good second part of the episode, but Kramer episode through and through. Everybody else is really good, but man, it might be one of the most ridiculous episodes, top 10 ridiculous episode, but it still works. There's still a plot the entire time.
Yeah. And when you talk about people just breaking up and losing it, I mean, one of the things too, in the final song, I don't always like in sitcoms when you have like the crowds just going off, like during Friends, if like a couple finally gets together and the crowd's reacting, I just often just roll my eyes. It's like, I don't need to hear that. But in that final scene with the song, because it's so long, and
it's
the
so long,
it's probably builds, it's like, it's amazing.
I looked up some production notes on this episode specifically, and I learned in that 2 things about that final scene. Number one, it was filmed in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
So that's all. There's no laugh track there. It's just legitimate. And the other thing was it was one take.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Mel Torme did that in one take, to the point that when Jason Alexander watched the episode back, he didn't think that Mel Torme had read the script, and he actually thought Kramer was a mentally challenged person. Like that's how well he sold it. Well, I mean,
that whole thing too with Elaine and Jerry, like doing the whole thing about him being mentally challenged.
Exactly.
And you're like, well,
of course they'll find out. Well,
The other thing that I really like about this episode, and we kind of talked about it in the chicken roaster episode with Janie, was oftentimes there are things in Seinfeld episodes that come out that are remembered, but they're not necessarily remembered for the episode that they're in. And for me, I think that that's George and the Kung Pao Chicken,
Yeah.
with him just sweating bullets. And this was that character's first episode. That was another thing that I learned. Mr. Was it Wilhelm, I think?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
boss. Yeah. This was his first episode. So that's another fun piece of trivia for this particular episode. But you remember George likes his chicken spicy, obviously, and that kind of fits with the whole Jimmy thing. But for me, just thinking about like him just sweating bullets after eating the Kung Pao, and then the whole thing, because Greg and I actually watched this just coincidentally at the same time, and I texted him, but you got a shower. That didn't take.
You gotta take a cold shower. That's for psychopaths.
And then I would also say just the Tim Whatley thing is with the, like, I know that aspect of the show of like the penthouses and them doing shady stuff with patients that are under in a seizure or whatever, but I didn't necessarily connect it with being in this episode. So that's another one of those funny things. I will say too that this episode is very special to me because it was one of my dad's favorite episodes because of the Kramer, because of Kramer with the shoes and the Novocaine and all that.
And that's like one of those things where like it's the Jimmy episode, and maybe like the first time you see it, and like I did this, like I remember after watching the Jimmy is I went into school and was like, Greg doesn't like this.
Yeah,
I was doing all this, but like after a rewatch, it does, like I said, it becomes actually a Kramer episode. The Jimmy thing's funny, and wearing the basketball shoes, and the fact that he can dunk, and George jumping in front of the Foot Locker employees is so funny. Like it gets 2 inches off the ground. I think that is just such a key moment for me. It is one of those, I almost feel like it's underrated at this point because it fell in those seasons where like everything was so technically perfect, and this show's not a technically perfect show. It is basically like
crazy.
It's completely insane. And I think that's what makes it so good to me is like, oh, okay, we're getting ready for seasons because it's the latter part of season 6. And Larry David might not have had to do as much with this. He still wrote the episode, but it was one of those things where like, let's just have Kramer shine, and everybody, like Jerry is the last character in this episode. There's not a lot of, it's him in Whatley's room. And I love that Whatley's wearing like the velvet shirt and he has the earring.
Shirt is nuts.
The shirt's nuts. He's got the earring and like, it's an adult only dentist now. That's so weird.
But he gives himself the hit of nitrous.
Oh my God.
Frank Cranston says he just like came up with that, which is like brilliant. It's like, remember that. It's just genius.
It's a great episode. Scott, you did a great job. Because honestly, when you said that, I was like, I remember loving this episode as a kid and rewatching it. I mean, like all these episodes, I always joke that I've seen these episodes probably more than anyone. And I still truly believe that. But man, this episode hits different later in life because it is a Kramer episode. And so it really good job.
Thank you.
Excellent pull.
Well, it's one of those. I watched it last night, watched it just an hour ago, and laughed just as much an hour ago as I did. It just doesn't lose it.
I thought I was going to I thought I was going to wake my kids up because I was laughing. I was audibly laughing so hard while I was watching this.
Well, Scott, thank you for coming on. We can't appreciate enough because it's just to have someone to talk about Seinfeld with, at the store with you is like such a relief for me because it is my favorite thing. It's Michael Jordan and it's Seinfeld. And that's really where I'm at with life. That's all I have.
And when you can culture. When you can just throw out a quote in the middle of the day during trying times, and it's like, that's
and
excellent.
You'll get it. You'll laugh. You'll be 30 feet away from me. So I really appreciate it for that and for coming on the show and to pick a great episode.
If we have is there a minute for me to tell a Seinfeld related story?
Oh, yes,
sure,
there is.
absolutely.
Go ahead. I love a Seinfeld story.
Yeah. Okay. So, just so happens my mom had an uncle by the name of Carter Morgan, and this guy Carter Morgan, his sister was the mother of a woman who became an actress, Anne Morgan Gilbert. If you remember the Dick Van Dyke Show, she played Millie Helper, the neighbor. So she and my mom were cousins. Anne Morgan Gilbert went on to be in The Nanny, which I never watched, but basically she and my mom were like the same age, given a few months and apart, and knew each other a little when they were growing up, and ended up corresponding a little in their later years. My mom passed away a couple years ago, and the cousin a few years before that. But Anne Morgan Gilbert was, amongst all the TV stuff she did, she was the character of Evelyn at Del Boca Vista, and
my
was
God.
in the Penn episode and the Cadillac episode. So she comes in when
So
Jerry
good.
is there, and comes in to his parents' place, and is like, so where's the pen? She goes in to see
It's
the
incredible.
astronaut pen from Columbus. So
That's awesome.
Wow. That's
yeah.
amazing, Scott. For you to never have told me that, to tell me on
I
this is
don't
incredible.
know
Like, I literally
how
got
I never
goosebumps.
did.
I'm glad
I
you didn't, because I love hearing this, because I have goosebumps now, because that's so
Yeah.
rad.
That's
Oh
so
my
was
cool.
waiting
god.
for
That's
this
really cool.
moment, apparently. So yeah, few degrees of separation, but yeah, I always am kind of proud. So shout out
Should
to the
be.
memory of we knew her as Aunt Millie. I never met her, unfortunately, but yeah, and the family, it was always just kind of like, oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah. Anyway,
Incredible. Well, thank you,
thank you
Scott.
so much.
We
No,
can't thank you enough, because this episode brought such joy to me right before we came
oh, good.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, great pool. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks. Yeah. All right. A lot of fun, guys. Thanks. Take care.
Yep.
You too. Thanks, Scott.
Thank
Yep.
you. All right. Well, we want to thank Scott for coming on. The Jimmy, great episode.
So good.
Really, really funny episode, definitely. And very good pool from him. And we're looking forward to having another guest on next week. But we move on to number 5, the Westminster Dog Show. A Pekingese named Wasabi won Best in Show at the 145th Annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show on Sunday. The runner-up was given to Bourbon the Whippet. The Westminster Dog Show is the longest running televised dog show and second longest American sporting event after the Kentucky Derby. I take umbrage with this being called a sporting event. The event was held at the Lyndhurst Estate in Tarrytown, New York. Due to the pandemic, the historic event was held outside of Madison Square Garden, where it has been held since 1877. Wasabi and his breeder, David Fitzpatrick, celebrated the win in style. He could have a filet mignon and I'll have a champagne, Fitzpatrick said.
I just hate dog shows. Cause like this dog, did you look him up, Brenton, yet or no?
Yeah, I looked at it.
Like the stupid dog. I hate this stupid. Like, it's not the dog's fault. The dog doesn't know. I don't hate this dog. I hate the owner. I hate the breeder. I hate all this shit. I hate dog breeding. Adopt a dog. You adopt dogs. This is where I'm at now. Like, I'm not someone like who saved who. I mean, like, you saved a dog. The dog didn't save you. You're a human being. The dog is a dog. And this is where why I wanted to put this in there. Is like, this dog is ridiculous looking. It does not want this stupid haircut. It looks insane. The hair's all over the place. This dog hates his life. It's like, oh, he gets filet mignon, but normally he eats like this stupid like protein shake thing, I'm sure, is what this fucking dog eats. It's like, you know what is a great dog? Is a pit bull. I love pit bulls. They're the sweetest dog in the world. People get upset about pit bulls. They're like, oh my god, they're so mean. No, they were bred to be mean by some people, but most of the time, pit bulls are the sweetest doggos in the world. They're so cute, and I love them so much. If we had a dog, it would be a pit bull. We have this dog that comes in the store. His name is Ted. He is the sweetest dog in the world. He's a big old, he's probably like 10 years old. He's a pit bull. He comes in, you just pet him. He just lays down your lap. I just love doggos. I know your doggos are like not a point of contention for you, but I love I love sweet big doggos. Little doggos, like this little guy, they're just yapping. I'm sure this little guy just yaps. He he's mean, and I don't like it. I don't like he won, and just like a whippet is such a dog just bred to be the winner of these things. But the sweetest dogs never win these things. It's never a pit bull. It's never a golden retriever. It's never the best dogs that we meet in this world. It's always these stupid little dogs that are waste of our lives, bred to, and I had little dogs growing up. And Jenna was a sweet dog. I love Jenna. And she was a Heinz 57 doggo. And she was mean. She only liked certain people. But she wasn't a yapper. I will say she wasn't a yapper. But I just hate things like this because it's like, oh, let's get dogs that are bred, which is the worst thing in the world. You should adopt dogs. Adopt dogs. Just like you should adopt other things. But like, adopt dogs. Don't get dogs from breeders. That's so gross and makes me angry. And just, there's so many dogs. Ted would have been euthanized. Sweet Ted. Sweet, our young prince Ted, who I love. And if I found out if Ted died, I would probably have to take a day off because I love that dog. And I love so many other dogs. I've taken care of rescue dogs. And they're the nicest dogs. This is me just saying adopt dog segment because you should. And don't do breeder dogs. Don't do stupid shit with your dogs. Don't be this fucking David Fitzpatrick guy's like, I'm going to have a fucking champagne when my dog has a filet mignon. That guy sucks. He fucking sucks. All dog breeders suck. If you're a dog breeder and you listen to this episode, which would be really weird, that'd be so weird if you're listening to this, you suck, get a new hobby. Because you got some problems. You got some Barbie dolls in your closet. I don't know what's going on, but you suck. Don't breed dogs. Adopt dogs. That's why I put this in here. Adopt dogs. There are beautiful little doggos out there that we should have. Everyone should have if you can. If you can support a doggo. You don't want to adopt a dog if you can. But if you can, adopt dogs. They're so sweet. And if you get a little Ted guy, which I love, do that. But that's why I wanted to go off. That's why I put this in here. I know Breton just has no idea what I'm doing right now. But adopt dogs. I feel like we need to do this. I think sometimes we need to just support things like this where it's just like, adopt doggos. Because doggos are so great. And they make people feel better. And it's like clinically proven that petting a dog makes you feel better. And I know every time I pet Ted, I feel better. And every time I pet any dog, I feel better. But Ted is a magical beast. So there we go. Adopt dogs. The Pekingese dog named Wasabi sucks. It's not his fault. His owner sucks. His fucking breeder sucks. Breeders suck. Don't have breeder dogs. I'm sorry, Martha Stewart. I know you get breeder dogs. Don't breed dogs, people. Just have doggos that you can get. Thank you. That's where I'm at. Adopt a dog.
Huh. Number 6.
Perfect.
The movie news wrap up. Morbius, not to be confused with Mobius, is still on track to release in 2022. Not part of the MCU despite previous claims. Morbius is, of course, starring Jared Leto.
Right. Yeah.
Anything on this? Or are you still coming down off whatever the fuck that was?
I'm still coming down from the dog, I think. I mean, if it's... I will see it. I like Jared Leto.
Yeah, I probably won't. I mean, I just, the Spider-Man movie, or the quote-unquote, the Spider-Man universe movies that aren't part of the MCU, I just, I never saw Venom with Tom Hardy. And
I will see Venom, though, because I think the second one looks awesome.
Have you seen the first one?
I've heard the first one's good, so I'm going to watch that.
Yeah.
I've heard the first one's, a lot of fun, so I will see that.
I don't know. Via Crew t-shirt, we got our first look at Jane Foster's armor from Thor: Love and Thunder, and it is very accurate to the Jane Foster Thor comics. Did you see this image?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah. Love and Thunder is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
that's one of those things where I'm 100% know it's going to be awesome, so I have no problems with this.
Yeah. New costume teaser from the Flash movie and confirmation that the movie Flash will meet the Arrowverse Flash in a fun cameo.
It's cool. I like that too.
Grant Gustin, right? Isn't that who plays him in the
Grant Gustin. Yeah.
TV show? A lot of people thought he should have been him in the Snyder stuff.
Yeah.
Alas, he was not. The Toxic Avenger will see a film reboot, and Kevin Bacon will play the villain. So
I'm a fan of that. I like Kevin Bacon just in most things, so him being a villain seems fitting. He's a good villain. The River Wild, he's so good as a villain.
Did you ever watch The Following? It's a TV show.
I've seen The Following.
You have? Yeah. It bothers me how he carries his gun. He carries it like this.
Oh, he does carry it weird.
Super weird, and I don't like it. Aquaman 2 has been given what seems to be an official title, Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom.
Okay. I'm not like, I just like, DC, give me something good.
The Batman.
And then,
The Batman looks good.
well, the Batman's gonna be awesome. Like, that's my thing is like, but I'll see the Batman, then I'll be like, but that's also my guy. So, you know, Robbie Pattinson doing things for me. That movie's gonna be awesome. I have a fear that I might like it more than Christian Bale Batman.
Get the fuck out of here.
I have this fear, like, what if it's better? There's
not.
There's this thing. But it's gonna be really good, right?
We'll see. I'm excited.
Let's say
but
it's gonna be really good. I will say I'm gonna walk out of that movie like we're seeing it right now. After, like, I'm gonna finish it and I'm gonna go see it again.
Here's where I'm at.
Just like I did with all the Batman movies with you.
Other than like Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, I don't really get too excited about movies. Like, there's movies that I know I'm going to see and I'll probably like them, but and that's probably just my personality. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not riding like a hype wave of anything. I just, I just don't get too excited about stuff.
Sure. We were excited about Batman though. You and I, we went hard. We got Chinese food.
I was a
we saw
younger
The Dark
man,
Knight. So was I.
We
were both here.
I was but a lad.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Speaking of movies that I do get excited for, Raiders of the Lost Ark turns 40 this year. 40 years old. Oh, shit! Clean up on aisle 4.
Know what that was.
Maybe it's because it's pitch black in your place.
It's because
psycho.
Well, no, it's because the sun was going down. I don't know. I don't even know what that was. Anyhow, we just rewatched. Well, I rewatched it. Janie had never seen it. The movie's still awesome.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's amazing. It's fighting Nazis.
Right.
Every time. Like I said, I'm an anti-Nazi guy.
Yeah, I'm not co-signing that.
I'm not co-signing being anti-Nazi.
Nazis listen to podcasts.
Wow, Michael Jordan. Easy.
Kingpin sequel is on the way from the Farrelly brothers. Kingpin sequel. Woody Harrelson. Kingpin.
I am lukewarm.
Yeah, this is just one of those ones that I saw. You know, a lot of people really like that movie, though. You know, a lot of people really like Kingpin. I just never.
Yeah, I don't. I don't.
It's like fine. It was funny, but I don't. I've seen it once and moved on with my life. So I definitely don't need a sequel for it. And finally, in Knives Out 2 news, Jessica Henwick joins the cast of Knives Out 2.
I don't know who she is.
Neither do I. And this is we're to the point where Nerdist or IGN could just basically use a random name generator.
Do you think we'll get in? Just because we keep saying it? Tag them next time on our thing. Tag Knives Out.
I tagged them in all the YouTube
maybe
videos,
we'll get in. When we'll do like a YouTube appearance in the movie.
They do. Like, it's just like name.
BXG's talking about.
It's names out of a hat at this point.
It's
They're not even
right
real
now.
people.
Like,
These aren't
really
even real
like the
people.
first one.
They're not even.
I
real
really like
people.
the first one, but there are too many people in this movie now. I don't like it anymore.
They're just telling us who the extras are at this point.
Right.
It's just like man on street corner.
Phil podcast.
Phil.
Well, if they asked it to be in it, I'm 100% sign that contract. I'll do it in blood.
Quick hitter time. Fessy of the challenge is the next wannabe to step into the boxing ring. Boom.
He'll get his ass beat so hard, it'll be so funny.
His first fight's against somebody from Big Brother.
That's so stupid. It's so stupid.
He called out.
Even professional.
He called out CT. He called out CT. He's like, if everybody wants to see me and CT fight, you want to see these hands get in the ring. No. We don't want you to see you guys in a boxing match. We want to see you in a street fight. Those are two wildly different
actual
things.
street fight. This is the thing with, like, obviously I'm significantly smaller than Fessy. Obviously. I haven't weighed myself in a long time. I'm probably $135. That's what I'm guessing. I'm a very small human being. I'm quick. I'm funny.
Well,
I don't think Fessy would ever hit me in a ring. I would guarantee I could do 6 3-minute rounds. I don't think Fessy grazes me. I don't think I'm going to hit him because I'm not even going to try to hit him. I'm not going to knock him out. I'm not going to try to hit him, but I'll guarantee this little motherfucker doesn't hit me. He's stupid as shit. He's just gonna be like doing a thing. He's gonna pretend like he's in a video game, just swinging his fists around. And I'm just gonna be like, okay, bro, good luck. If he does hit me, I'm gonna be dead. But he's not gonna hit me, so I don't have to worry about it.
Thank you. Luke Evans and Josh Gad to reprise their roles as Gaston and LeFou for a Disney Plus prequel series.
Down. I like that.
Here's where I'm at with this. I don't really like the live action Disney remakes.
I don't either.
But no one sounds as much like the cartoon version of that character than Luke Evans as Gaston.
100%.
He sounds, because like my kids do this thing where they make us play the same goddamn songs over and over again when we're in the car, as kids do. And
just play some Grateful Dead.
That's not going to happen. And they make us play Gaston over and over and over again. And we'll listen to the cartoon one, and then we'll listen to the live action one. And the difference is almost indistinguishable between the cartoon version and Luke Evans. Now, I don't think he looks like Gaston. I thought that physically the look, that wasn't a great casting choice.
Right.
But he sounds like him, and he does sing very well. But I'm interested to see this series just because it's supposed to be like how they came to be friends. I think it could potentially be really funny.
I think it'll be actually hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it will actually
I'm more
be
on
hilarious.
board with this than a lot of
of
the stuff that we get from Disney that's not Marvel or Star Wars.
This actually makes the most sense of a lot of things.
Yeah. In science news, National Geographic officially recognizes the Southern Ocean as the fifth ocean in the world. Now, before you say anything,
okay,
I know what people are going to expect from me on this because it's very well documented.
Well, you're an anti-ocean.
Not a fan of the ocean. This changes nothing in that regards. It's not like they just plop down another ocean and now there's 5 of them. They just changed the map to reflect that this part that was previously this thing is now this thing. My problem is, who the fuck does National Geographic think they are?
That was going to be my thing. You stole my thing. I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? You're nothing. You're doing God's work in a negative way. God put 4 oceans in this world, if you believe in God, or if you don't. But there's 4 oceans in this thing. The Southern Ocean is not yours to own, National Geographic. I'm anti this. There's 4 oceans. Boom. Get out of here, National Geographic. You're better than this. Got other stuff to do. There's stuff in the ocean. There's stuff in the 4 oceans that you can just find, National Geographic. Go find that shit in the ocean. Don't worry about naming another one. Lazy. It's lazy is what it is. I will not ever respect laziness.
Do you know what's really funny?
Yeah.
My son has a globe, like a toy globe that he can do stuff and learn things on or whatever. We've had this thing for like 2 years. I just noticed on it in the last like 2 days that the Southern Ocean is on it. And we've had this thing for like 2 years.
What the hell?
So
it's been a thing.
Apparently.
Where is the Southern Ocean?
It's south.
I don't like that.
It's around the South Pole.
I wish it was north. And they were just like fucking with us. That'd be funny if they were just like in between like the Atlantic and the Arctic. Like it's just there, Southern Ocean. Because it's south of something.
It's south of everything.
Now it's south. I don't like this.
So.
Oh, a friend of mine worked at National Geographic. Shout out Matt Adams, who listens to the pod.
Well, there you go. Media recommendations. Before you get into yours, we had to write in. Jared L. wrote in to recommend Cruella. So there's that.
Cool.
If you want to check that out, he said it was he said it wasn't that bad. So I don't know if that's a glowing. I don't know if that's a glowing recommendation, but
it's not.
It's not a not recommendation. So there's that.
Yeah. So summer for me is pretty standard at this point. I'm an old man at this, at this stage, 36.
Mm-hmm.
I have my summer jams. I'm a summer jam guy. Of course, I have Olivia Rodrigo there. I'm always listening to her. But I'm a Grateful Dead guy in the summer. There's something about Grateful Dead. I just gotta like chill. I'm relaxing. I'm not a weed guy. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just chilling. I'm jamming out with Jerry. And then, I do some Jerry, and then I do some Dead and Company, so I got my John going in there, what leads me to John Mayer. And then Paramore, for whatever reason, is a summer jam to me. I just love some Paramore. I love some, Get Heavy with Haley. And then Lana Del Rey is honestly that's summer jams. And if you're not a Lana Del Rey person, just listen to her because you're going to be a summer jam person. Lana Del Rey is ultimate summer jams. Because you just want to chill. You just don't feel like you're you just want to close your eyes, but I'm at a beach. I'm at a beach all the time anyhow. I'm at the ocean. But you're just chilling. You're just chilling out. That's where I'm at right now. I'm just chilling. It's the summer. Let's relax. It's hot. Maybe it's a little too hot right now. But I'm jamming out. I got my summer jams going. This is all I listen to. This is literally all. I will not listen to. I'll listen to maybe Taylor Swift 1989. My other Taylor Swift albums, they're fall albums. They're fall albums. They're autumnal albums. But 1989 is a summer album. And then I'm reading a really great book. Debut author Natasha Jukovsky, I hope I'm saying her name. Portrait of a Mirror. If there's ever been a book written specifically for me, this is it. It's Ivy League kids that are older now. They're smart. They're snarky. It's tongue-in-cheek. These guys suck. It's so much. I started today. I'm halfway through it already. So it's really good. If you kind of waspy, but making fun of waspy things, I think this is a really good pick. Hopefully she's doing well with this. I really, really respect the writing. It's really way different than a lot of stuff I've been reading lately, but this is a fun book. And she went to Virginia for a BA, and then she went to NYU for business. She worked at a couple art museums. The author did for a few years, and then she moved on to business management, business consulting. So she knows her thing. She's obviously smart. The book projects that. I think it's a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm halfway through it. I really, really like it. Right up my alley. What are you doing, Brendan?
I've been playing Wario Woods on the Switch. It's an NES game.
Ooh,
it's a
nice.
combination of Tetris and Candy Crush a little bit.
I like that.
I've been listening to... So I wouldn't really say this is a media recommendation because I wouldn't recommend this to anyone, actually. But I've been listening to the Mars Volta Landscape Tantrums, and what it is, it's basically unfinished tracks from their, I think it's 2004 album. They haven't released a new studio album in over 10 years.
I'd say it's a long time.
But they're a progressive rock band, and it's a super acquired taste. And, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that to people if they haven't kind of found it on their own. Sort of deal. I just wouldn't say hey, you should check this out, because most people probably would not like it. It's definitely a something that you have to have some level of familiarity with. But the main thing is I've been playing Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart on PS5. It's excellent. I plan on doing a video for it. I've captured some footage via the PlayStation Share thing, and gonna work on that. Hopefully have that out within the next week or so.
How does it look? How's the PS5?
It looks like it looks like a Pixar movie. It looks like a Pixar movie. It looks better. It looks better than a Pixar movie.
I'm in a lot of time. I'm still playing that too. I'm just like I said, I only play video games for a certain amount. It's so much fun. Ratchet & Clank is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yep. So that's the main thing is, it looks beautiful. It definitely is. Shows off the power. I'm playing it on performance ray trace mode, which gives you some better lighting and 60 frames per second. So it plays a little bit more fluidly than the fidelity mode, which is, it's still 1440p versus 4K, which is whatever.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the performance stuff.
Right.
BXG Podcast publishes every Friday at 12 p.m. on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and other podcast services around the globe. Social media accounts, BXG, Facebook.com/BXG Podcast, Instagram at BXG Podcast, at GTPhils, at Y2B, and Twitter at BXG Podcast, YouTube.com, BXG Podcast. Again, we're doing the giveaway contest. The next 25 people who share one of our posts and tag either Like if it's on Facebook, you tag one of the two of us. I'm not sure if you can tag the podcast page or not. I don't know how that works. Or if it's on Instagram, you could tag the Instagram, the podcast Instagram, which is at BXG Podcast, or either Greg or myself, Brenton. And your name will be entered into a drawing for a $25 gift card of your choice, as long as it's not some weird stuff like keep it to like Amazon, a gas card, Red Lobster.
Sheets.
There's not Sheets in California. Is there?
No.
Yeah.
No, there are not Sheets.
Right.
But I just like saying Sheets.
Wawa. If you're living.
There's no Wawas. Target,
Walmart.
There you go.
Starbucks.
Target. I don't have Walmart, so you have to go to Ventura or something to go.
Yeah. Well, whatever. That person's
Target.
that choice.
Do
is.
Target. Target's actually cool.
If you're the winner,
Target.
You'll let us know. We'll be in touch, and you can let us know. So,
or Chaucer's or Bettina. I can do that too. I can make that work.
Tell your friends, tell your family.
Tell your mothers, adopt doggos. Adopt doggos. Cute doggos like Stafford Terriers. The cutest doggos.
About the unmistakable lessons of the BXG podcast. Take care, friends.
Thanks for listening. Woof woof.